Okay, class. Next lecture is lecture number 5, unit 4, lecture number 5, dataset splitting methods. In this, now the how to trend test split using sklearn in Python means in this technique. Now we have the dataset to train model. First of all, we need to we need to break the dataset into two parts. Trend test split using sklearn. Sklearn is the library provided by the Python to split the dataset. In this, we can break down the dataset into two different parts. One part is training part, another is testing part. Trend test split using sklearn. As I already told you, sklearn is a library provided by the Python. The trend test split method is used to, and this library provide trend test split method is used to split our data into train and test sets. There are two sets for training purpose and testing purpose. First, we need to divide our data into features X and labels Y, means train features and labels. The data frames gets divided into X trains, X test, X training, X features test. Y train means label train and label testing. X train and Y train sets are used to training and fitting the model. Data and Y train data are label features training and labels training are used to training and fit the model. The X test and Y test sets are used for testing the model. If it's predicting the right output or labels, we can explicitly test the size of the trend and test sets. It is suggested to keep our trend sets longer than the test sets. Trend set. What do you mean by trend set? How you can explain the trend set? The training data set is a set of data that was utilized to fit the model. The data set on which the model is trained. The second point, the data set on which the model is trained, on which we can say training data set is used to train the data, and on this training basis the model predict and we test the model after training. This data is seen and learned by the model. The training data set is used to seen by the model and learn the model by this data. The test set. The test dataset is a subset of the training dataset that is utilized to give an accurate evaluation of a final model fit. It means we provide the accurate model or training dataset that is utilized to give an accurate evaluation of a final model fit. Validation set. A validation dataset is a simple sample of data from your models. Training set that is used to estimate model performance while tuning the model hyperparameters. By default, 20% of our data is test set and 75% data goes into training set. It means when we break down the data into two part, train set and test set, then by default, the 25% of our data is test set and remaining 75% data goes into training set. It means we can see clearly the training data set size or the amount of training data set is large as compared to around one third of the uh, train set uh, test data set. It means we provide large training data set and small one for test data sets. Example, the NumPy pandas and scikit-learn packages are imported. First, we need to how we can split the data and how we can break data into test and training. So the NumPy pandas and scikit-learn packages are imported. First, Then the CSV file is imported. The second one is we need to import the CSV file. Then X contain the features and Y is the labels. X value contain the features part of the our data set, and Y is the labels. Now we split the data frames into X and Y and perform trend test split on them. Means we split the data frames into X and Y and then perform trend test split on them. Random state X like a numpy seed. Random state act as like a numpy seed. It is used for data reproducibility. Test size is given as 0.25. It means 25% of our data goes into our test size. And the first test size is our trend data size. We don't need to specify data shuffle equal to true. Shuffles true our data before splitting. It means first we need to shuffle our data and then data is split. The X train and Y test, X test set are used to fit and train our model, and the test sets are used for testing and validating the model. Now, here the complete program to uh, execute or to for in Python. First we import packages, import numpy as np, import pandas as pd. From scalar model selection, import trend test split. Means here the method provided by the scalar model selection, that is import trend test split. Importing data, df. Df means data set. Df equal to pd read. Pd means pandas. Read CSV. Head brains 1.csv. I store one file in my uh, PC, and the name of this file is headbrain1.csv. Head of the data, print df head. It means the all total size print. We need to print that headings of the data set. X equal to df head size cm to the power 3 centimeters. Y equal to df brain width grams in grams. Using using the trend test split function, x train x test y train y test equal to trend test split. This method is trend test split method. It split the whole data into x y random state 104, test size 25 0.25, and remaining 75% automatically goes into y uh, train. And shuffle equal to true means before splitting the data set, it shuffles the all data into process. Print out train and test set. Now that we have after splitting, we have two sets. One is train set x train and another is x test, and the next one is y train and y test. X is features and y is the label. Now x trains and x train heads. First it print the x train value and then print x train heads. Then print x test and x test heads. Y train similarly y train and y train heads. Y test and y test heads. You can see head size in centimeters, brain width in grams, and X trend the data set. You can see there only 25% is there, centimeter size data type, in that you can see different data sets. This is the output for the provided data set. This is only X trend. X trend means 75% of data, and X test also 75. Y trend is 75, and then Y test is also 25%. Now the next one is class validation methods. Cross validation. First of all, we need to understand what is the cross validation in machine learning. In machine learning, we could not fit the model on the training data and can't say that the model will work accurately for the real data. If once we train the data, then we cannot say that the trained data model work properly with the real data. So for this, we must assure that our model got the correct patterns from the data and it is not getting up too much noise. So for this purpose, we use the cross validation techniques. First, we need to validate our model with the cross validation techniques process. In this lecture, we will discuss the process of cross validation in machine learning. We are going to discuss the process of cross validation in machine learnings. What is cross validation? Now, cross validation is a technique used in machine learning to evaluate the performance of a model on unseen data. First, this point is very clear mention. Cross validation is a technique used in machine learning to evaluate the performance of a model on unseen data. It means the data provided at that cross validation, the data is never before provided it. It involves dividing the available data into multiple folds. The data are available data divided into multiple folds are subsets using one of these folds as a validation set and training the model on the remaining folds. This process is repeated multiple times, each time using a different fold as the validation set. Finally, the result from each validation step are averaged to produce a more robust estimate of the model's performance. Cross validation is an important step in the machine learning. It means the process of the cross validation technique or the cross validation mechanism is a very important step in the machine learning model. Now, the types of cross validation. When we are going to perform the cross validation, then there are different or several type of cross validation techniques. These includes are number one is k-fold cross validation. The second one is leave one out cross validation, hold out validation, and random sampling. These are the basic, or we can say important main techniques for cross validations. Now we will discuss it one by one in detail. The k-fold cross validation. In k-fold cross validation, we split the dataset into k number of subsets known as folds, and we perform training on the all the subsets but leave one k minus 1 known as k-fold. K-fold cross validation we split. First we need to understand what is the k-fold cross validation. In this split, yeah, in this technique, we split the dataset into a k number of subsets known as fold. Then we perform training on the all the subsets but leave one k minus 1 subset for the evaluation of the trend model. In this method, we iterate the k times with a different subset reserved for testing purpose each time. It means we reserve the testing dataset as a subset, different subsets for testing purpose every time. Every time we need to uh, test the data. Example of k-fold cross validation. Suppose we are going to perform the cross validation k as a k-fold. Then the diagram below, as I will show you diagram later on. Now the diagram below shows an example of the training subsets and evaluation subsets generated in k-fold cross validation. Suppose here we take an example. Here we have total 25 instances. Start from 1 to 25. In first iteration, we use the first 20% of the data for evaluation and the remaining to 80% of training. First 20% data set is for evaluation and remaining 80% data is a training purpose. It means only 1 to 5 dataset is for testing purpose, and 6 to 25 training for dataset is used as a training dataset. While in the second iteration, we use the second subset of 20% for evaluation, means the 5 to 10 for three subset of the dataset for 5 to 10 testing purpose, and 1 to 5 and 10 to 25. These are the training dataset, and so on. You can see here in the whole dataset available here, and in this training dataset you can see the training dataset here and the test dataset. The 20% part of the whole data is used as a test, and 80% dataset remaining is. Now the test is shifted diagonally to the next layer and up to last k fold 5. There are 5 fold k. The value of k for the value for k is 5, so we need to here 5. How we can break down the 20% and 80%? So we can divide the whole data set into on the basis of the value of k. If the value of k is 5, then we need to break down the whole dataset into 5 steps. Then each step consists 20%. So at each step, we test the data with 20% testing, and all other remaining 80% used as with each layer. We can see here the numerical example. Total instances 25, value of k is 5. No iteration training set observation, testing set observation. Number of iteration training set observation and number of testing sets observation. Here, the first 0 to 1 to 5 means 0 to 4. These are testing purpose, and 5 to 24. All 20 sets are used as a training set data set. Now, the first 0 to 5 or 0 to 4, 5, these 5s are included, and the next, that is 5 to 10, these 5 values, that is 5 to 9. These values are for testing purpose, and all these are training purpose. It means k fold the whole data set into will be fold into. Now you can say 0 to 4, 5 to 9, 10 to 14, 15 to training data set have consist all total 25 values, and each training set have the data set remaining test training data set excluding the testing data set. Now, the second one is leave one out cross validation. In this method, we perform training on whole dataset but leaves only one data point of the available dataset, and then iterates for each data point. In LOOCV, the model is trained on n-1, n-1 sample, and tested on the one omitted sample, repeating this process for each data point in the datasets. An advantage of using this method is that we make use of all data points, and hence it is low biased. The drawback with this cross validation method is the major drawback of this method is that it leads to higher variations in the testing model, as we are testing against one data point again and again we are trying to test. So the higher variation may be possible in this type of testing. Now the holdout validation. In holdout validations, we perform training on the 50% of the given dataset, and rest 50% is used for the turn. Now the in holdout cross validation technique, we use the dataset size is equal for training dataset and the testing dataset block. It means we use 50% of whole dataset as a training dataset, and rest are remaining 50% is used for the testing purpose or testing data set. It's a simple and quick way to evaluate a model. It is very simple and very quick, very faster we can say, to evaluate the model. The major drawback of this method is that we perform training on the 50% of the dataset. It may possible that the remaining 50% of the data contains some important information which we are leaving while training our model, that is higher bias. Random sampling. Now, what is the random sampling? Random sampling simplify describes a state wherein every element in a population has an equal chance of being chosen for the sample. Sounds simple, right? Well, it's a lot easier said than one done, because you must consider a lot of logistics in order to minimize the biasness of the algorithm. It means 11 is less than or equal to 10? No. The given condition is false. Then the result is not printed and you can see the table of. But in this example, we take multiplier and counter as a fixed. But suppose if you want to take any multiplier from user side, then you can say multiplication table using user defined while loop. It means the previous loop is basic while loop. In general, the table is printed up to 10. But if you want to print customized table, then you can set as input multiplier input, enter the multiplier, start one, end. It means, have you remember the start point of while loop and end point of while loop and steps? You start from 1. You can start. If you enter here from 2, then always your pointer is start from 2, and end is means where you want to end this, while start is less than or equal to end. The value of end is 5. Suppose in case once the enter the multiplier is prompted at your screen, then you enter 5, enter the multiplier value 5, enter the range and enter the range and 5. It means the multiplier is also 5 and the range is also 5. It means only 5 numbers are printed on table. Start is end like this. Now I demonstrate the while loop. The first program demonstration of while loop, I equal to 1. I start from 1. While I is less than 6. The first program, print I, the value of I, print I plus equal to 1. It means I, the value of I is increased by 1. Just execute this program. You can see the output. When you getting the output, it is up to 5. If I increase it up to 10, then the output increase up to 9. Can you tell me anyone why here I write the 10, but only we get the output up to 9? 1 2 3 4 5 up to 9. Why? Because of we use here the less than operator. I when I become 10, the condition also check, but the given condition is false. If we use here less than equal to, then same program generate the output up to 10. You can see if we remove the equal to operator, it generates up to 9 output. But when we use equal to sign, then the same program generate 10 output. Why? Because of 10 is equal to 10, and once we use the less than operator only, then it check only the less than, not equality. The second program, if I want to break, then if I equal to 5, suppose, then we use break. Now check the output, only 5. If I set here the I equal to 3, only 3 output we getting, and remaining after, whenever the if given condition is true, the break statement execute, and once a break statement execute, it means your execution pointer is exit from the loop. Clear? The next program, we are trying to print a multiplication table. Suppose if you want to try print a multiplication table, first take a number equal to suppose 5. It means you want to print a table of 5, and I equal to 1, while I is less than or equal to 10, means it goes up to 10. Print result equal to I into number, and then print I plus, we need to convert it into string, I plus string number plus string result. I equal plus equal to 1. 1 plus 5, we should also put here into sign, plus plus equal to sign. Also we print some space with date. Now 1 into 5, 5, 2 into 5, 10, 3 into 5, 15, up to 10. Suppose if you want to take this number from user side, if you want to take the number from user side, then we only change, if you change number 7, then see the result. Now it prints the table of 7. Once I change the number is 9, then it prints the table of 9. But if you want to take this number from user side, then you have to take integer value, input, enter, any number. It should be in double quotation. Enter any number. Now run. Enter any number. Suppose I enter 8. Then you can see the table of 8 is generated. Again, number 7. Hit enter. The table of 7. Suppose if you want to also set value, starting value from user side, then you can take also ask to user what will be the starting value, and end value also you can ask to user what will be the last value or the stop condition. Okay, the next loop is for loop. For loop is a also iterative statement over a sequence. It means it is generally used for list, tuple, dictionary and set or a string. Suppose for example, if you want to access or if you want to use all characters of a string one by one, then it is a sequence. The for loop is Python or a special type of loop. It's a special type of loop that is used for sequential traversal. Traversal means accessing, retrieving of elements one by one from first to last. That is known as traversing. For example, print each fruit in a fruit list. Suppose you have a list of fruits, for example, apple, banana, cherry, and you want to access, if you want to traverse, if you want to retrieve one by one all these fruits, then you can use for x in fruits, print x. So you can see the output apple, banana, cherry, one by all these three fruits are in a list, and for loop retrieve for x in fruits means x is a variable in which it takes one by one elements from the list, and print x print the value of x one by one. Now the break statement, as you know very well, the break statement is also used to the break statement is also used to stop or terminate the loop even the given condition is true. Suppose for example, the if you want to stop the for loop when banana found in a list, whenever we found the banana, then the remaining list will not be printed. Only the list printed up to starting from first element to whenever we get the banana. Once the banana is get by the variable, then it is stopped. For x in fruits, print x. If x equal to banana, then break. You can see the output apple, banana, cherry is also present in a list, but it is not printed. Why? Because the loop is breakdown in between, or you can say when the x is getting banana, then the loop will be breakdown or break. The range function. This is very important function. It is only used with the for loop. To loop through a set of code a specified number of times, we can use the range function. It means if we want to repeat, we want to perform a loop for setup code to specific number of times. It means suppose if you want to print predefined like 20 times or 10 times, then the range function is very common and very popular and very suitable for this. The range function return a sequence of numbers starting from 0 by default. It means uh, I hope you know very well the loop start from 0 always by default if we are not providing any starting value. Remember one thing, remember the working of loop: start, stop and step. It means start means from where your loop will be start, stop where your loop will be stop, and steps how many increments are take place in between the loop jump from one step to next step. Syntax: range. Start means the initial value of the variable, initial value for the loop. Stop means last value of the loop. It means whenever we catch the value, stop value, the loop will be stop or the loop will be terminated. And step is the increment or decrement, as we already discussed. Parameters: start value of the sequence, stop next value after the end value of the sequence, and step optional. It is both are optional, only stop value is mandatory. Integer value denoting the difference between any two numbers in the sequence. It means first number and second number and how much difference between them. 2, 3 are like that. What is the use of range function in Python? Now it is very common question in your mind. So what is the use of the range function in Python? Then we can say in simple term, range function allows the user to generate a series of number within a given range. If suppose different type of series, suppose for example, if you want to generate the series of even number, all even numbers in between 0 to 100. If you want to generate the list of series of odd numbers between 0 to 100, then the range function is very useful and very common. Depending on how many arguments the user is passing to the function. Range is a function, so it also accepts the arguments, parameters, and is the start optional and the step is also optional. Then user can maybe provide the start value or not. Optional means user can maybe provide or not. If the user not provide, then it is automatically taken as 0. If the step is not provide, then automatically by default it is a 1. So on the basis of number of parameters or number of arguments passed or provide to the function, the range function initialize in different 3 ways. You can initialize a range function in following 3 ways. Range, the first one is range and only one parameter provided with this, that is stop. It means in this type of function calling, in this type of function, the value of start and the value of step are treated as by default. What will be the value for by default value for start? That is 0. And what will be the value for by default value for step? That is 1. So it prints the sequence from 0 to whatever the provide stop value, and the difference between first and second value is 1. The second one, range function start. Now in this type of calling we provide two values, one is start and another is now in this type the start value and stop value is provided, takes two arguments. It means start value whatever you provide and stop value whatever you provide, but the third one, that is step is taken as default, and default value of the step is 1. So it print the sequence of series in between start value and stop value, and the difference between two numbers is 1. The third one is all these three parameters, that is start, stop and step, takes three arguments, and the value of start you have to provide, value of stop you have to provide, and step value is also provided by the user. And according to this, the range function print the sequence. Now we will discuss one by one all these three type of function one by one. Python range first. Python range stop. It means in this type of function call, user provide only one argument. That is the value of stop variable. Get a series numbers that start from 0. It means the by default value of start is 0 and includes every whole number in between up to the stop value. But here remember one thing, the whatever the stop value you provide, it is not included. Have you remember when we print function from value from 1 to 10, then the value is printed only from 1 to 9, not printed 10. It means the 10 is not included in the range. 10 is, you can say, the 10 is out of range. So here the number that the user has provided as the stop is not included in the range. For example, Python, if you provide range 6, it means the value start from 0 because of the default value of start is 0. You only provide the one value, that is 6, and 6 is value for either start or stop or step. But if you provide only one value, then Python compiler automatically treated it as a stop value. So Python compiler automatically takes optional value, that one is start value and the step value, and the by default start value is 0 and the by default step value is 1. So you can see the output 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. It prints the value from 0 to 5. The stop value is 6, so it is not included and it is not printed in a list. For example, you can see print first 6 whole numbers for I in range 6. Print I. Here I use a AND. AND means if we are not using this AND, all these values are in a list one by one. If the list are divided into vertical, then it is AND. Suppose if you want to print one by one, it is number 0, 1, 2, 3 in a single row, then you have to use AND with every print statement, AND with line break. If we don't use this, then the printer always print the line break. But if the we use this, it means always the print statement end with the blank space. You can see a single blank space in between all these numbers. The second function call. In the second function call, we provide two values. One is for start value and another is for stop value. In this same start value is 0. In this example, you can see the start value provided by user is 0 and the value provided for stop is 6. It means this function raise function start from 0 and goes up to 6, but 6 is not included, so 6 is not printed. The user gets to decide not only where the series of numbers stops but also where it starts. So the user doesn't have to start at 0. It means if the user provide the value for start, it means it is never always, it is not start from 0 always, all the time. User can use range to generate a series of number. It means user try to generate a series between x to y. It means the starting value is x and the end value of y. But keep in mind the x value, whatever you provide for the x is included in the series, but the value of y is not included in series. So you can see if we provide 0, 6, it means start from 0 and move up to 6 one by one, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. For example, here we take an example for I in range 5 to 20. It means we are trying to print the numbers between 5 to 20 and we are not provide the step value. That's why the step value is automatically treated by default, and the by default value for step is 1. So 5, 6, 7, you can see 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, up to 19. 20 is not printed. Why? Because of you have remember the 20 is not included. Whatever we provide the stop value in range function, the stop value is not included. It is excluded from the range. So only up to 19 it will print. The third one, this is the perfect function. You can say this one is perfect range function in which all the three values are provided. One is start value, another is stop value, and the step value. When the user call range with three arguments, the user can choose not only where the series of numbers will start and stop, but also how big the difference will be between one number and the next number. It means the user also decide what will be the first value, what will be the last value, and what will be the difference between first and second value, or you can say the first term and second term difference between them. If the user doesn't provide a step, then range will automatically behave as if the step is 1. In this example, you can see in this example we are printing even numbers between 0 to 10. Means start value is 0, end value is 10, and we are going to print the even numbers. Even numbers means 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, like this. How much difference between first even number and second even number is 2. 0, 2, 2, 4, 4, 6, 6, 8. It means the difference between two terms or difference between two numbers is 2. So we have to provide the step value as 2. The first value 0, 0 plus 2, the next value, 2 plus 2, the next value, 4 plus 2, the next value, and 6 plus 2, the next value, and 8 plus 2, the next value. But the 10 and stop value is also, but stop value is 10 and the 10 is also calculated from the loop, and 10 is not included in the range function, so 10 is not printed. The next value is 12 and it is out of range. That's why only the range function print values from 0 to 8. 0, 2, 4, 6 and 8. These 5 values are printed in between 0 to 10. For example, if you want to print 0 to 10 even numbers for I in range 0, 10, here the 0 is start value, 10 is a stop value, and 2 is a step value. It means the difference between first and second value is 0 to 10. Here you can see the 30. 30 will be the start value. Now, the next one is Python range function using negative steps. Have you remember the flow chart of the loop? Once I explained you the flow chart of the loop. In loop, increment and decrement is also mentioned. It means if we move forward, then we use increment, and if we move backward, then we use decrement. If a user want to decrement, then the user needs a step to be negative number. For I, suppose you start from, not you always you start from 0 or 1. You can start from 50 and goes up to 1. It means reverse number. Suppose someone asks to you print numbers from 50 to 1 in reverse order. Then in that case, you use a range function using negative step. For I in range, 25 is the starting value, 2 is the end value or stop value, and minus 2 is the step value. So you can say 25, 23, 21, 19, 17, 15, 13, 11. It means if you want to print odd numbers from 25 to 2, in between 25 to 2, you can see the range or the list of odd numbers printed here in between 25 to 2. Now, some examples for loop. Basic examples. Suppose for a Python program to count the total number of digits in a number. Suppose someone provide you a number 129475 and ask to you just count the number. How you can count? Here we prepared a program for the counting of digits in a given number. The given number is 129475. So if you want to use for loop, first we convert it into a string, because of now it is treated as number. But if we use a range function, then we can convert it into string. Given number, declare a variable to store count. The count is a variable to store the counter equal to 0. Initially we set count to 0 for I in given number. It means I in given number 1 2 4. I in given number means the for loop get the numbers one by one from the given list and increase the count value by 1 every time. First it take 1, second time 2, third time 9, fourth time 4, 5, fifth time 7, and up to last. And every time when it gets the number, it counts the value or increase the value of count. Print the total count at the end. At the end you print the value like output. You can see the output is 6, and you can count 1 2 3 4 5 6. There are 6 digit in given number. So with the help of range function, you can also provide or you can also calculate this type of counting. Now I will demonstrate to you the for loop one by one. First for loop, first we create a list of fruits. apple, banana, comma, cherry. Next, for I in fruits, print I. You can see the output. All the fruits are printed one by one. First, apple, banana, cherry. You can see the output. If we use the break function, then the same code we write again here, and if I equal to string banana, then break. You can see the list is same, but in previous example, all three fruits, apple, banana, and cherry are printed. But in this example, only apple and banana is printed, not cherry, because of once the banana is encountered, then the loop is terminated, loop is break. Now, the range function. The next one is range function. How you demonstrate the range function? Suppose, for example, if you want to print for I in range, how many parameters passed in range? There are three parameters are required. One is start value, another is stop value, and the third one is steps. Suppose we pass only 5. It means we are trying to print numbers from 0 to 5. We are trying to print numbers from 0 to 5 and print I. You can see the output 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We provide here the 5, but 5 is not printed. Why? Can you tell me anyone why? Because of the 5 is not included in the range function. If we provide two variable, 1 comma 5, it means now the sequence is start from 1. In this, the by default value is 0 for start, but if we provide some value, then the loop always start from the provided value. If you are missed the value or you are not provide the value, then by default value is taken. But if you provide, then only consider the provided value. You can see 1, 2, 3, and 4. Start from 1, 0 is eliminated because of 0 not in range. Your range start from 1 and goes up to 5. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 5 is not printed because of 5 is not included in the range. Suppose if you are trying to print a list of odd numbers from 1 to 50, if you print all numbers 1 to 50, then You can see the numbers are printed from 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 50. But if you write here the 2, 2 means step. Now the difference between first and second number is 2. You can see 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. All these odd numbers are printed in between 1 to 50. The 2 is decide the difference between first term and the second term or next term. You can see clearly the difference between 1 and 3 is 2, 3 and 5 is 2, 5 and 7 is 2. Each term have difference